We want to go straight. Oh, that's a big pothole. Just missed it. That was a butt clencher.
Yeah! Get up!
I remember back in the day when this used to be a new road. What is up, T.O.Gs? Oh, that wasn't smart. I was going to try and make it out to the front of this line. Now it's just going to seem like I'm being a butthole and cutting, which is what I'm doing. We're just out here today trying to get ahead of what on Google Maps said was a ton of traffic. And it kind of looks like Google Maps lied to me because I don't see... Oh, yeah, I do. I see slow traffic on the other side. We're out here today to discuss a new rider tip, and that tip being pulling over. So, have you ever had to pull over and you weren't quite sure? Maybe you're on a road like this one where I don't ride very often. Now this looks like a good place to pull over, right? The shoulder's wide. I don't see a lot of debris or loose pavement or gravel. This looks like a good place if I had to pull over. This looks like a good place to pull over. But let's talk about today when and when it isn't a good time to pull over.
No, it's a cardigan, but thanks for noticing.
I'm not talking about when you're in the city and you got parallel parking, you got motorcycle parking, or in a parking garage. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is those times when you are in a situation where you need to pull over on the side of the road in a place that isn't all too familiar. Oh, I so want to just beat this train. Wave hi to all the Amtrak people. Hi, anybody want to wave to me? Hi. Oh, there's a little kid. They want to wave to me? No. I'm a celebrity. Don't you know who I am? Oh, he's gonna be nice enough just to let me go. What a nice guy. Or gal, I didn't see. Okay, back to the topic at hand, which is pulling over. So, now, this area over here is probably not the greatest place. The shoulder is not as wide. Now, the pavement here doesn't look like there's a lot of loose gravel. So, yeah, this might not be a bad place to pull over. So, but let's talk about in general terms. You don't want to pull over in an area where you do see loose gravel. That's a bad place to pull over. It doesn't matter if you're on the highway or if you're on on a back road. If you see loose gravel or loose pavement, think twice about pulling over in that situation. Now, it's a little bit different if it's like big rocks, right? I've had to ride through and park and pull over where the rocks are larger rocks, like if the rocks are like that big and it's just piles of them. Still not an ideal situation, but that's okay. So the other situation that you need to be careful of when you pull over is when you see, like, this is more so in the fall and sometimes in the summer or whatever, if you are in an area where there's people who can leave their street clippings on the street, where there's grass that's just been cut and you see a lot of grass on the side of the road, maybe next to a park where the wind is blowing some of that grass out of the street. With that, and when in the fall when there's lots of leaves on the ground, is even though, you know, it might not be so slippery for your bike, it might be. What is going on here? Oh, I so want to just pass all this up, but I'm not going to. Okay, so my ADD, goodness gracious. Okay, so let's talk about pulling over. Now, over here is a good example of a place you want to be really careful when you pull over. Even if you feel like your wheels would be okay, again, once you put your feet down, it's a whole different story. It's easier if you're riding a bike where you can flat foot it, but the taller the bike and the less footing you have, like for me here, I'm on my tiptoes. If you're tippy toeing it, not a great situation there, because as soon as you lose your footing, you could also lose your bike. And when I say lose your bike, you know, obviously the bike's gonna live through that situation, but once you tip it over, you've got the threat of, you know, scratching your paint. You also have the threat of it falling over on you. So again, just be super careful in any situation where you're pulling over. We're gonna let the air in here. Whenever you're in the situation where you're pulling over and you're not gonna have great footing. Again, I'm talking about loose gravel, I'm talking about loose dirt, I'm talking about grass, I'm talking about fallen leaves. Okay, and that situation can pretty much arise in any region, I think, in this country, probably in any country in the world. So just be careful. Those are the situations that you want to be careful when you pull over. The other situation you want to avoid is pulling over on a highway. In an emergency, if you've got to pull over on the highway, sure. I mean, if you absolutely have to pull over, I would say put your hazards on so that the people behind you know, yeah, there's something wrong. This guy's not just slowing down or veering off of the lane. Turn your hazards on. Get yourself pulled over. The other thing we want to do on the highway, because a lot of times there's accidents, there's a lot of debris. I mean, we're talking about like the tire treads off of big rigs. We're talking about bumpers or pieces of cars that have been like just pushed to the side on the highway that haven't been cleaned up. I mean, because we're not just talking about losing your footing or your bike falling out from under you. If you hit something large like a bumper, you could be in a world of hurt. So I would just say, if you're in a situation where I don't know if you can tell, where I can't really see very far ahead on the shoulder here, and this person in front of me, that's probably not the greatest place to start putting your hazards on and getting off the road, because you can't see what's on the shoulder. See, now that they pulled forward, I can see that the shoulder is pretty much clear. But you don't want to pull over if you cannot predict what's going to be there when you reach the side of the road. Pretty much, you just want to keep yourself out of a situation where whatever emergency that you feel that you have on the bike becomes an even bigger emergency once you've pulled over. If you can, for sure, wait for the next exit and pull over, get off the highway. You know, the off-ramp probably isn't a great place to pull over either. Make it all the way to a road and pull over when it's safe. But guys, that is all I've got for you on this topic. I wish that I was moving here, not just because it's 90 degrees outside and I want to get to where I'm going right now. But I appreciate you watching. If you have anything else on pulling over in an unexpected situation, make sure you add your 2 cents down there in the comments as to, in your experience, what are good tips for pulling over unexpectedly. But guys, that's all I've got for you today. If you like this video, make sure you hit that thumbs up down there, which is the like button. And if you haven't already, smash the heck out of that subscribe button. Guys, if you're out there riding, be safe. And if you're not riding, get riding. I'm that one guy, and I am out.